G'day battlers, and today we are already jumping in for a Guardian Cup tournament sweep, this time at the hands of Cacsviley, teams over there on the right hand side. Now in this video, basically the name of the game, the aim of the game is to sort of get an idea about what sort of teams people are using, what these sort of team builds are looking, what's going through people's heads as they put together their stuff for the Guardian Cup and sort of draw out what's working and what's not. And so I'm going to talk about the teams a little bit. If you just want to skip straight to the battles, timestamps are in the progress bar as always, so you can skip straight there if you want to. But taking a look at Cax's team that did get this 4-0 sweep in the Flash Tournaments for All server. We've got Dusclops, which is a very interesting Pokemon already. Cax told me that it was their MVP and also is not an XL Dusclops, so it could be even more bulky than what we're going to see in this video here. I want to see how it all plays out. They are running the Fire Punch Ice Punch moveset, which is definitely pretty interesting. Fire Punch definitely has some nice coverage, and Ice Punch there sort of puts some damage onto the flyers as well as the dragons that are running around in this meta. Primeape, you've got that counter damage. It's pretty much every team is going to have at least one counter user. We can actually already see that Verdugo has two, but getting ahead of ourselves a little bit. Primeape going to be running Night Slash and Ice Punch here. Night Slash, really nice for the ghosts running around, and then Ice Punch again, the flyers, and also the dragons that are around. Chestnut, a really interesting pick, kind of interesting. I just clicked through to see the movesets. I didn't see Chestnut. I don't know if Chestnut, I didn't watch all of it. I haven't seen these battles before, but I didn't see Chestnut, so I'm not sure what the moveset is. But generally, it's going to be Energy Ball Superpower, I'm pretty sure. So getting that fighting coverage as well on top of Primeape, as well as the grass coverage. Raichu coming in with the Wild Charge and Brick Break moveset. So Brick Break, getting that coverage against sort of things that are weak to it, because there is a lot that is weak to counter in this meta, and also just provides you with that opportunity to get some damage off that isn't going to debuff you like that Wild Charge nuke would. Always nice to have that option there. Mantine, standard moveset, Bubble Beam, Ice Beam. We know how Mantine works at this point. Really nice for the fire types as well as the fighters that are in this meta. And then normal Castform coming in, pretty interesting. I'm kind of interested to see how Castform works in this meta. Who's got that Hex, Rock Weather Ball, and Energy Ball moveset as well. So I'm really interested to see how this goes out. Primeape is probably, I don't want to say it's an underrated fighter, but it's definitely a fighter that is used a lot less. I think that Vigoroth, Toxicroak, Machamp are much more likely to see a lot of play as this meta goes on, but maybe if the ghosts are putting on like a real show, then Primeape might be something to really consider. And looking at Verdugo's team on the other side, we've got that Machamp, Ninetales, Steelix, Vigoroth, Toxicroak, and Gourgeist in the large size. Turns out I was wrong. They've actually got triple counter users, so if you've already commented that down below, you know, you got better eyes than I do. But triple counter of Verdugo is running here. And we did, I briefly mentioned it in the Meta Simplified video, but Gourgeist, I don't know how to say it, does have 4 different sizes, and the 4 different sizes have different stats. I'm sure that's a discussion for another day here. It doesn't matter too much, and they're all pretty similar operating when it comes to the Great League as well. So the important thing to note is just that it's probably running the Shadow Ball Grass Knot? Seed Bomb moveset. So definitely a little bit, you know, it's able to do some damage. But let's jump into the battles here. Okay, jumping in now, we've got the Dusclops up against Toxicroak in the lead, which is a really good lead for Cacsviley. I can see we've got the Mantine and the Raichu in the back. Raichu does not want to see this Toxicroak at all, but Mantine would still be in a really good spot here. Dusclops just throwing an Ice Punch to weaken it down. And Verdugo is not swapping out, which makes me think that he doesn't have 2 Dusclops counters in the back. He might have 1 counter and doesn't want to swap into it, because then Dusclops would be able to swap out. So it makes me think that this Dusclops has a lot of value up against Verdugo's line of 3 here. So actually recognizing that, swapping into the Mantine, and presumably, I don't think that's enough for a Sludge Bomb, so probably catching the Mud Bomb here. Really nice catch on the Mantine. Toxicroak has a tiny bit of health in the back, and oh, okay, so Gourgeist comes in here. This Ice Beam would do a lot of damage because it does carry the grass typing, and it lands. That is really unfortunate for Verdugo. Unfortunate call. This Shadow Ball, if it's a Shadow Ball, would still do a lot of damage as well, and it is, and it does. Bubble Beam, I don't think it's enough to KO here, but I think it's sort of just nice to get that debuff through. Actually, another one, okay, just going to go straight for the charge move on the other end there. Just going to let Mantine go. At this point, you could bring in Dusclops to get a little bit of farm, get some energy going, but going to bring out the Raichu, at this point, I was going to say probably going to see Toxicroak come out, but it's got like no health left, so we'll see what else is in the back. Oh, it's actually Vigoroth. So Dusclops definitely a nice to keep around. Dusclops definitely very good up against Verdugo's line, especially in the lead. It gets the shield with that Brick Break there. Probably just gonna shield. Like I mean, you can definitely get some more big damage here. You can probably go for a I'm just gonna go straight Brick Break. It's probably the safer play, especially when there is still that shield on Verdugo's side, and they sort of want to keep this. I guess they need to keep Vigoroth around. It's their only Pokemon left. They've got Toxicroak with like 2 HP in the back. It's not going to do much at all. So shields up the Body Slam, going for the Wild Charge is just going to nuke away that Vigoroth. Dusclops not even needed to finish the job here, but we are seeing Dusclops come out now. 1 Hex, and that is GG's. And again, we only had that 1 battle recorded in round 1, but Cacsviley did end up 3-0ing Verdugo 20 centimeters. So, you know, GG's, Verdugo definitely a good opponent. Actually, 3 out of 4 opponents in this tournament have been featured on this channel before, Verdugo being one of them. So they're definitely all really strong battlers as well, and have all definitely got prowess. But we're jumping into round 2 now, up against Lion's Den 17-16, who I think is number 90 in the world. So definitely a really strong battler. Something to be a little bit scared of. Bringing in the Skarmory, Machamp, Alomomola, Gengar, Empoleon, and Ninetales. I do like this squad. It's definitely pretty interesting. I'm liking that I'm seeing these sort of different Pokemon running around. Gengar is a pretty interesting one. I'm kind of waiting to see what the moveset might be. There's always the chance that you're going to see that Focus Blast Gengar that, I mean, depending on the moveset, it could tear through Cacsviley's team. So has to be a little bit wary of that. I'm thinking that Dusclops probably has some pretty good play as well. Just kind of brief looking through here. Mantine looks actually pretty good as well. I don't really see a hard counter to Mantine on Lion's Den's side. I mean, Empoleon, I mean, they're not really doing lots of damage to either of them. Empoleon probably comes out on top in that matchup though. But either way, we'll jump into round 2, and I'm pretty sure we have all 3 battles here, so we are jumping in properly now. We've got the Castform up against Gengar, really good lead for Cacsviley again. So we see the quick swap out into Alomomola, and Cax is just waiting there with the hard counter, Raichu coming out. Unfortunately, because they don't have Thunder Punch, they kind of have to go for the Brick Break if they don't want to debuff themselves. Lion's Den was just happy to let Alomomola go and didn't shield there. Gets the Psychic off, and gets the defense debuff as well. That's like 10% chance of happening. So really, I mean, it's just unfortunate for Cacsviley there. Really lucky for Lion's Den. At this point, I'm just going to let that Alomomola go. Maybe it's a bad thing that... Oh, actually, no. I was going to say maybe it's a bad thing that the debuff went through because there's less to farm, but really nice for Gengar to be able to just delete that Raichu and not let it get that Wild Charge off. Gengar came back in, so Castform was going to come in, and Lion's Den waiting for the swap after getting some energy. Brings in the Skarmory. This isn't a bad spot for Castform either, because these Rock Weather Balls are going to be adding up. Looking at the Mantine in the back, though, I kind of feel like there's obviously the potential for the Focus Blast to be on that Gengar, which is scary, but I feel like you do want to use the Mantine up on this Skarmory and keep Castform for that matchup in the back, where you are doing that super effective Hex damage, and you are resisting the Hex damage back, or Shadow Claw damage back. But Mantine, yeah, is getting used up here. Going for the Ice Beam just to try and get this Skarmory out of here, just to leave it to that Gengar in the back, but does get the shield. So 1-1 shield now. At this point, Mantine unfortunately not able to get the Bubble Beam, so this Gengar, look, it's got a lot of energy. It could be the Focus Blast, shielding in case. Oh, it's the Sludge Bomb. That actually... I mean, that probably still does a lot of damage. Like, it's not a Focus Blast nuke. It's not going to be a one-hit KO, but I think it still might do a lot of damage here. I'm not sure. Is it enough to take out a little bit over a half-health Castform? Oh, it is. Oh, wow. Lion's Den taking out the first one with the Gengar up against Castform. That is really nice. Really nice from Lion's Den. And really nice just, I mean, and with a pretty bad lead and swap in as well, Lion's Den still able to take it out. But Cax coming in with the Raichu up against the Ninetales now, going straight for that Wild Charge and lands it, which is really rough for Lion's Den. Lion's Den still able to get the move off before going down, and seeing as the Wild Charge went off first, the Raichu was defense debuffed, so it actually would have done even more damage. So kind of forced a little bit to shield there. Here comes Alomomola going straight for the Wild Charge again. Full moveset has been revealed at this point. Does get the shield though, and now going to swap into that Castform, because you do have that Energy Ball. You're able to put on that big hurt onto Alomomola, who doesn't charge up very fast. You've only got like Psychic Hydro Pump. Neither of those are known for being low energy moves, and pretty bulky as well, so able to tank that pretty well, and kind of surprising a little bit. Went for the Hydro Pump, does get shielded. A little bit surprised. I kind of feel like that 10% chance of the Psychic debuff is always nice to get, but still, doesn't really matter because it was shielded up. Gets that Rock Weather Ball off. Is hanging on with like 1 HP back there, so it's not out for the count yet. There's the potential that a catch could come at some point. This is, I mean, it's not a rough spot for Cacsviley. You've got a little bit of Castform here, you've got a little bit of a Raichu, and you've got a full Mantine up against that 1 shield Skarmory. Brings in the Mantine now. At this point, I feel like you'd go for the, I was going to say you go for the Bubble Beam debuffs. Does land the Brave Bird there, but probably too little too late at this point. Gonna get the Bubble Beam off. Pretty much forced to burn that last shield from Skarmory, especially after being defense debuffed from the Brave Bird. And at this point, this Bubble Beam is pretty much going to seal the deal, and that's going to be GG's, and it's going to put round 2 at 1-1. So we and a little bit health on a Alomomola, but this is the decider for round 2. And another really good lead from Cacsviley with the Dusclops into Machamp. Lead games insane so far. Swapping into a Alomomola, but I guess. So charge up a lot of energy there before swapping into Raichu. I guess Raichu just, I'm confident that Raichu will be able to take this one out. No defense debuff that time. The not having Thunder Punch is a little bit unfortunate here. Like, you're really nice to be able to just throw that one through just to make this matchup a little bit more secure, but throws the Wild Charge just to make sure that that Alomomola does go down, and no shield this time either. But we see the Machamp come in, so interesting going for the Brick Break. Expecting the shield to come up so they don't get hit by the Wild Charge, and it does. Hoping to get another charge move through. Not going to happen though, unfortunately. It would have actually been better to go for the Wild Charge, debuff yourself so that Machamp got less farm, but you know, I was hoping for the charge move there. And I didn't see what that swap in was from Machamp. It was a Skarmory. Okay, so revealing the Fire Punch as well, which is nice to have. Going to bring in Castform now, because now that this Skarmory is switch locked in, Machamp is just away in the back, so you can bring out Castform and use it somewhere where it's going to be useful. Going to be able to soak these moves, force some energy out of Lion's Den. So yeah, this is a pretty nice spot for Cacsviley to say the least. It's definitely looking good for securing that round 2. Gets the Weather Ball. One more Weather Ball would seal the deal, but a Sky Attack is going to seal it back. Does Cacsviley shield here? I feel like it's not a bad shield if you burn the shield there, but deciding to just bring Dusclops in. The Switch Timer Switch Timer comes up, Machamp comes in, able to tank the cross chop. Was really trying to, Lion's Den was trying to get that last shield out of Cax with just threatening the Rock Slide, but at this point, gets the last shield out of Machamp. At this point, you could shield. You could. He's going to shield, and it is a cross chop. Okay, Lion's Den is still kind of in this, because I think a Rock Slide still does. Oh, Ice Punch comes through first. That Machamp must have been close to the Rock Slide, but yeah, at that point, Machamp is going to go down now. A little bit of Skarmory left, but I think Dusclops is just going to be able to seal the deal here, get the Fire Punch off, and take it out, and that is GG's on round 2, which means that we are going to be going into round 3 here, up against Trainer 1522304. I'm not sure what the story is behind this, but it is up against Bukk, who has been featured on the channel before, one of my patrons, doing a great guy. And he's got a Twitch channel that I just thought it would be funny to put it in as there. It's Bucketinator. When I say his full actual in-game name out loud, I got hit with a monetized yellow ding. But I'm not. I think they forced him to change his name, but it looks like they haven't accepted his name change, and now he's Trainer. I don't know what the deal is, but anyway, up against Bukk, who's running a pretty interesting team with the Claydol, Steelix, Pelipper, Ninetales, Golbat, and Machamp. Claydol is a really interesting confusion user. Hypno is banned in this cup, and with Claydol recently getting, was it this season? This season with GBL, where it got a sort of a revamp, maybe it was the last season, where it is running that Shadow Ball now. It is able to do, it's a lot scarier than it used to be, I feel. But we'll see how this ends up going. We actually have to. I did switch the teams over. I was like, oh, did I forget to switch the teams? No, we're all good. Okay, so jumping in now. I've got the Raichu up against the Machamp. This isn't an awesome spot for Raichu to be in. Still able to do a lot if it can get that Wild Charge through, especially. And we do see that Cax is running a little bit of an ABB. Both of their Pokemon in the back would be nice to have up against the Machamp. Both Dusclops and Mantine. Really nice, but this Raichu still able to do a fair bit. So we'll go for the Brick Break. They're sort of staying on pace at this point. Doesn't shield the Brick Break, which like is a good spot. Like it's a good move from Bukk because Machamp is a bad Pokemon for Cax's back line. So lets it go, burning both of Cax's shields. Claydol comes in, getting some farm in. See the Mantine swap in, and now Golbat comes out to answer it. Golbat is going to be able to put the hurt on with the Shadow Balls, especially now that there are no shields left on Cax's side. Goes to the Poison Fang first, or I guess Poison Fang then Shadow Ball. Probably the safer play. But goes for the Ice Beam, does land it. Golbat should still be able to get to the Shadow Ball. This should be a Shadow Ball that would take the Mantine out. Oh, it's done that Poison Fang. Is he... I'm not sure if he's like not running Shadow Ball if he wasn't up to it yet. I'm kind of curious. Maybe he was just trying to get farm from this Claydol, but now Claydol is going to get attack debuff. I'm curious as to what Bukk's game plan is. I mean, it's unfortunate that Dusclops exists. Oh, no, but it's got Shadow Ball now. And with the 2-shield advantage, I think this is going to, you know, that's half of Dusclops' health. And then one more and you're good. So I think actually, you know, Bukk does have this one. Even though a little bit, I'm not... look, this worked out just fine. Swapped to try and catch a move there, but it didn't work out. And at this point, Dusclops going to get taken out by the Shadow Ball. That is GG's. Bukk taking out the first one. So we'll jump into game 2 now. Claydol putting on a bit of a show. We've got Castform up against Pelipper, which is a pretty good spot for the Castform, with those Rock Weather Balls coming out really fast. Like that is insanely quick to the charge move. And just a little bit... Oh, that does a lot of damage too. I didn't think it did so much, but it does heaps. And one more would take the Pelipper out. So shield him with the Weather Ball there. You would have... Like, you want to shield the Hurricane. You don't really want to shield the Weather Ball, because it doesn't do heaps. Nice no shield there. And at this point, farmed up tons of energy. Takes out Pelipper. We see Golbat come in. Interesting swap, because it is also like really weak to these Rock Weather Balls. Kind of makes me think that whatever he's got in the back is also weak to Castform. Maybe it's Claydol. Lets the Poison Fang come through though. In comes Dusclops, getting able to get to these Ice Punches. This isn't a great spot for Cax to be in, but it's not an awful spot. You kind of... I'm really curious as to the Shadow Ball never appearing from Bukk. Does Golbat have another move that's like viable? Is it like a Frost Crunch situation? I don't know what's happening here. But Ice Punch, can do tons. Going for another Ice Punch, or gets it before the Golbat gets one through. I feel like you see a shield from Bukk here. And then tries to go for the Shadow Ball. We see the Mantine swap in. Is it a Poison Fang and dip? What is going... Where's the Shadow Ball? Do you have Shadow Ball, Bukk? Is this... Oh, wait. It's a purified Golbat. Has it got Return? It must have Return. I'm really curious now. I'm going to ask Bukk after this. Have you got Return? I'll watch one of his stream VODs, because he was streaming these tournaments as well, but... Either way, Claydol comes in, gets hit by the Ice Beam, takes it down. Do you see the charge move coming through from the Claydol? But at this point, Dusclops it's just a little bit too healthy, and going able to shield up the charge move. I think can Hex down here, and then throw an Ice Punch at the Golbat in the back, and that is going to be GG's. Unfortunately, this is another lost battle. We don't have the third battle, but Cax did end up winning that one out 2-1, so was able to win the third. Which brings us into the finals. The only two undefeated people. We've got Shundo Hunter 420, who we did feature in the Glacial Cup. We featured one of his Glacial Cup runs on the channel. He's got Machamp, Steelix, Mantine, Alolan Marowak, Gliscor, and the Dragonite. So you can see there are some Pokemon that just keep popping up again and again and again. Counters is always really nice. We haven't really seen a lot from the Primeape, but we have seen that Machamp come through. Steelix also hasn't actually made an appearance yet, despite popping up on a couple teams now. I feel like Steelix could potentially slip away into the background if like the ghost types are around, but there's usually only like one per team. The counter users are around a lot. There's a lot of sort of ground stuff going on. I don't know. Maybe I'm kind of feeling like Steelix could potentially fall away, but we'll see how the meta does develop. Going to the finals now though. We'll see how these dudes do played out. We do have all 3 battles, so no more lost battles now. We do have the Dusclops into Dragonite in the lead. This is not a bad spot for Dusclops to be because you do have that Ice Punch. Even though that Dragon Breath is chunking away at the health, this Ice Punch is still going to do an absolute colossal amount of damage. Gets the first shield out of Shundo Hunter. Gets to another Ice Punch, but Shundo Hunter throwing on the move. Really nice counting there. It is the Dragon Claw, so it's not going to take out the Dusclops, but it is going to do a lot. At this point, I don't know how much Ice Punch does, but it probably brings it close to taking Dragonite out, if not taking it out completely. Decides to go down 2 shield. The 2 shield Dragonite strat is a real one. It is pretty effective there. Decides to burn the shield in case this is some huge nuky move, but it is just a Dragon Claw. And gets another charge move off. This could be the big nuky move. No, just another Dragon Claw. Okay, all good. So going to be able to farm up a little bit extra comfortably and then throw this Rock Weather Ball to take it out. If Shundo Hunter has a Machamp in the back, there's the Machamp. This Rock Weather Ball not going to do tons to Machamp. But I feel like Cax probably swaps into Mantine here. And we'll see what Shundo has in the back. We're not seeing a swap out, which either means they just want to get this Rock Slide off. And they did get the shield. And it is Steelix in the back. Steelix making an appearance. There you go. But not in a great spot up against Mantine. Because these bubbles and bubble beams are definitely going to be adding up. And the attack debuffs coming through from the bubble beams aren't helping it. But Steelix just needs to weaken this Mantine down enough so that Machamp can do something about it in the back. And it kind of is accomplishing that a little bit. This Mantine getting pretty low here. Lets the crunch come through. No defense debuff. It's the back-to-back crunch. And then you're still coming through. I feel like the back-to-back play isn't a good one when you're up against Mantine, just because like you got like double attack debuffed by the time you got the crunches off. But either way, gets the crunch off to take out the cast form. Mantine comes back in. Here comes Machamp, and I think that there may be enough health on Shundo Hunter's end to take this Mantine out. I mean, obviously there's enough, and takes out the first one, Shundo Hunter's way. Still able to overcome. Steelix putting in work, except Primate lead, not where Steelix wants to be. So we see the swap out into Machamp, allows the swap out into Dusclops, and this is not looking good from the get-go for Cax. For Shundo Hunter, sorry. It's looking good for Cax. Lends the Rock Slide. No Shadow Punch again, so these Ice Punches are going to have to do. I think Ice Punch and Fire Punch are just, like, I think they've got the same stats. I think. I should probably fact check that one. But either way. Ice Punch, Ice Punch, Ice Punch. Down goes the Machamp. No shields burnt. We see the Steelix come in. This is definitely an okay place for Steelix to be. Fire Punch is a little bit unfortunate that he's running Fire Punch. Because that does do a nice chunk to the Steelix. It's going to be able to get another one if we don't see the charge move come through as well. Yeah, we know there's the Machamp in the back. At this point, so we're not swapping out of the Primeape, which I kind of feel like wouldn't have been a terrible play. But hey, gonna get the Fire Punch off. Steelix hanging on by a sliver, gonna get one charge move off. It's probably gonna be Earthquake, because that's the big nuky move. Oh, goes for the crunch. Are we gonna see the swap out? No, I was thinking that we might see a swap to Dragonite to try and like catch the counter damage, but didn't happen there. And at this point, Primeape gets that first Ice Punch off, gets the first shield from the Dragonite. 1-1 shield. Not going to get to another Ice Punch. It's going to be down to Raichu. Raichu going to take a lot of damage from these Dragon Breaths. It's going to be a little bit close because I think that Dragonite could potentially get to 2 Dragon Claws. And a Dragon Claw is really going to hurt. Throw the move. Oh my gosh. We're not throwing the move on Raichu, which means we're going to get hit by a Dragon Claw. It's really going to hurt. Looks like going for the full farm down throw. Wild Charge. Hangs on by a sliver. Oh my gosh. Oh, wow. Nice. That's so close. And that we're going to the final battle now. They're 1-1. That was absolutely so close. Mantine versus Machamp. Really close. Really good lead for Cax going into the final battle. Cax getting so many good leads through this tournament and getting it again when it counts. Has to be a little bit fearful of the Rock Slide. Does successfully shield the Rock Slide there. Going for the Ice Beam now. Really just wants to get this Machamp out of here. Actually, it doesn't matter as much because there's no cast form on the lineup now. Primeape doesn't hate the matchup, but just going to let it completely go in comes Steelix. I feel like Machamp must have been in a move there, but Bubble Beam's going to start adding up again. Interesting bringing out the... I feel like I'd take a guess and say that Dragonite is in the back again. Seeing the swap into Primate does confirm it as well. But now we are going to see the Ice Punches start to roll. Shundo Hunter is in a little bit of trouble here with this Dragonite. Does burn the first shields correctly on the Ice Punch. I feel like Cax could go either way here. Decides to let Primate go. That's fine. Going to bring in the Dusclops, who also has Ice Punch. There is so much. All three Pokemon have an Ice move. Dragonite is not loving it here at all. Shielding off the Dragon Claw. Not a terrible shield, but I feel like this Ice Punch probably gets a shield back. Actually, Steelix is still in the back, so you bring in Steelix, farm up the energy. You've still got a shield. You can shield this Fire Punch if you want to. You don't need to. He's going to, though. Ooh, try to swap into Mantine to catch the Crunch there, but already going through. So Crunch gonna not quite take out the Dusclops there, but now coming in, throwing the Ice Beam to try and get this Steelix out here for the win, for the Victory Royale. Needs one more Bubble Beam. I think a Bubble Beam would take it. Can Mantine hang on? I think he can hang on. Barely. We get the defense debuff. We get the Bubble Beam off. This could be it. And there it goes, the Steelix going down and Shundo Hunter going down and giving Cacsviley the final battle, taking out the 4-0 sweep with some really interesting Pokemon there. Dusclops definitely did show its worth as a really good Pokemon in this meta, and something that I'm certainly going to be considering now. I also have a non-XL Dusclops. I don't have an XL one. So you don't need the XL candy if you don't want to. You can just stick to the sort of classic, you know, you've got candy, you've got dust. You can sort of spend that bit. But with that said, thank you for watching. Thanks again to Cacsviley for sharing their footage through, because it definitely was a pleasure to watch. And really nice to see these. We saw a lot of Pokemon sort of come into play, and I'm sort of interested to see how this meta does end up developing over the next couple of weeks as we head into February. But with that said, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, especially the subscribe one. Thank you to my patrons and supporters over on Twitch as well. I'm blocking names, as I always do. Yeah. Check out the Meta Simplify if you haven't already. It's over there. And once we have another Guardian Cup video, it'll be over there as well. And subscribe, because, hey, I'm here. I'm doing Silphy stuff. So, come Silph. Yeah. Do it.